Welcome to Walking Dead complaint figure number 1. Or, part 1 maybe? No. Number 1. I will be complaining about other Walking Dead figures in the future. But until then, here is my first complaint. This I got when I was kind of younger, first run of its line. And I spent $16, which for a kid who doesn't really make his own money, that's a big chunk of your money. And he disappointed me in a few ways. First, they gave him this hinge system that held his two parts of his head together, and it would just flop down and it wouldn't stay up. And then it's supposed to be like, you press this button and this knife in the back is the lever that makes these brain parts go up and down. That would force his head open and make it look like his head exploded. Which is really an old, like, 90s figure type action thing to do. Maybe also a little bit of 80s figures. But they totally stopped doing that. But to put that in what they call an adult collectible, it's kind of really odd. Anyway, I lost the part because it broke off, and then I was going to do something with it. And then this part wouldn't stay on, so I had to glue it. And now it's glued on there. Now, it's not that bad of a figure. It's got no neck articulation or anything. But I suppose it's okay. It's okay for a figure that would cost maybe $5 on eBay. But this figure is going for quite a bit. Just because it's Series 1 of the Walking Dead McFarlane figures. Comic figures. And he's not worth a lot of money. I mean, he's up for that, but I would not say buy this figure. If you see him for $5, buy him, resell him, go crazy. This hand was very loose. I could barely keep it on, unlike the other Series 1 comic figure, where this is a little loose, but it stayed on, and this part is real tight. This one over here, he couldn't keep his hands to himself. Okay, yeah, it's pretty sloppy, and then he's got better leg articulation than the other zombie, but that doesn't make up for his head. And then this arm wants to fall off too, because they made this come off. And then if you take off both those arms, he looks like a broken toy. He doesn't look like a zombie that's missing both arms. I don't know. I would never display him like that. Just because, yeah, he has to have at least one arm, which stays on there very loosely. But that can kind of work as an articulation piece, kinda, won't hold. And he's got a rubber jacket here, which is nice because you can take it off to look at his sculpting underneath there, which he's got pretty good sculpting. Now, I believe this is like one of the only figures that are an African-American man who's been turned into a zombie. I can't think of any other Walking Dead figures that are like that. It would be cool if they made like, let's see, a Tyrese zombie. We never saw Tyrese as a zombie, but you know he had to be turned into a zombie. He didn't shoot himself. I don't remember people shooting him. That would be cool. In fact, after they make the Tyrese figure, they have to make a zombie Tyrese. That's an order. Anyway, he's got sort of a purplish color, which I suppose that's what a black guy turns into after he dies. I can't tell you from personal experience. Never happened to me. This is a rubber piece here, so it doesn't inhibit the articulation. Then he's got a swivel at the leg, the Y cut at the hips, I'm going to call it, and then a knee bend. And this knee can bend slightly more than this one. He's got this, here's another complaint. He's got this big button on the back and this lever that if they made this actually look like a knife had been jabbed up and down, then I'd be willing to accept it, but it just kind of looks really toyish, and for something that's supposed to be an adult collectible, seems like, yeah, it's a good thing this thing is extinct now. this, and then their previous Series 1 TV series figures, they had one that walked, and he was like, then he'd fall over. It was horrible. He's like a wind-up toy, and that cost $16 as well. That, I would complain about that, but I don't really have that figure anymore, which is good, because I don't have to look at that pile of crap. Anyway, I suppose that's all I can complain about at this point. He's got good paint and good sculpt on him in most places, so it's not a big complaint, I suppose. It's just bothersome. I like his brain matter that's rubber up here. You can sort of stretch it around. When I display him, I always have him like getting shot, and he's like here, and you have a Walking Dead figure standing there pointing his gun at him. Pretend, I guess, shot his head off. Why not? If you got a problem with that, how about you like, subscribe, and comment? Heck, even share the video. Because this is the end of the video, and that's what I say at most of them. If you did like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and etc. And that is all